Tribe, you can't hear the music.
I need to hit a music tribe.
Tribe.
What? No music?
No music, man.
Are you kidding me?
Nah, man. It's gone.
Oh, well.
Play it, man. Nah, man. People need to hear that, man. That stuff was fire, man. It's gone.
Damn it, man. Every time you get everything set up to do it. What's up, everybody?
Right? What's going on, guys? What's going on?
We trying to do it legit and everything falls apart. The music didn't play, babe. All right, let me see. Dang it. Just forget it, man. Anyway.
Hell no. Hell no.
What's up?
Hell no. We need the beat.
It should play.
All right, don't worry about it. PT,
Can you hear it?
You got the fire beats, brother, but I don't hear.
It didn't work? Nah, it ain't working. It went away. I don't know. I'll play it later or something. But what's up, everybody? Now it's all, now it's all messed up, man. We got Native Voice. We got Just Josh.
Bam!
What's up, man? What's up, man? Tell the people about yourself, man, for all the people that's going to see this that may not have seen us before, man. Y'all want to introduce yourself?
All right. I'll go first. What's up, guys? I'm Native Voice. Our channel is Native and Devout, man. We do a lot of political commentary, but we're all about preparedness, the preparedness lifestyle, self-sufficiency, patriotism, standing up against tyranny, preparing for the eventual fall of the republic, because we are definitely on the course for that. For all you guys who are already subscribed, the Daily Rant is returning starting next week, guys. Yes. So tune in to Native and Devout. We got it figured out. There's going to be a new format for the Daily Rant, man. Y'all come out and support us. Also, I'm going to be dropping the link, man, to we finally got our Discord server set up. So I'm going to be dropping the link. The name of our Discord is Fallen Republic. Just for everyone to just come in, man, and just share stuff and just enjoy free speech. We've been enjoying it on there. I can't believe how free it is on there. You can say whatever you want. Like everything that YouTube will immediately delete a YouTube channel for, you can say it on Discord, and we have been. So.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Make sure y'all check that out. And make sure y'all check out that membership, man. He does them private lives and stuff, man. We have such a good time on there.
The Brave Nation.
Link to that. Yeah,
appreciate it.
All right, Just Josh, man. Let him know.
Oh, it's on me. It's my turn to go. Hey, bam! Hey, they already know, man. I'm the wild man. I'm the crazy man. I am the conspiracy theorist. I like to throw ideas out there. I'm passionate. I bring the energy. I get worked up when things just aren't adding up. And I would like to say, yes, I upload videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m., but I don't. I'm random, and I'm the wild man. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying. I am trying, but look.
But you are very active on your channel.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up.
You're dropping vids, man. I watch every single one of them. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt, though.
No, you're good. PT, when I see the craziness transpiring, which is basically all that we have right now, I can't help myself. I got to scream about it.
No doubt.
So that's your boy, Just Josh. Hey, I love all y'all, man. Be safe, prep up, stack to the Raptors. It's time. It's go time.
Yes. Grow food. Hey, can I just say one quick shout out to my lovely wife, Lady Roy? Hey, babe, I love you. I miss you. Let's cuddle.
and the links to both of their pages are in the description for anybody later on. If you want to just hit that description button or tab or whatever, you go in there and you'll find Native Voice and Just Josh, but it's Native and Devout. But you'll find both of their channels in there. You just click on that joint and check them out, man. They're really, really good channel.
You'll find out who Devout is. I'm Native Voice. There's another dude on the channel called Devout Lion. You'll see.
He's cool.
Yeah, cool dude.
Yeah, for real.
A wild one.
He's out there. January 6th is his new July 4th. If I'll just put that out there.
Oh Lord.
For real.
That's what's up. And later on in the show, we might have a special guest. Now, it's a special guest that nobody would know, but it's a person who really has some good insight on things in life. And I'll just leave it at that. We'll make sure that it'll probably be, about a half hour into the show, see if we can get him on and maybe ask him some questions and get some ideas from somebody outside of the YouTube world. You know what I mean?
Run it.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
So what's been up, fellas, man? There's a lot going on, you know what I'm saying? I've been watching it today in DC. You had the BOMB threat.
Yes. Appreciate that.
That was
Some
crazy.
dude-
Did you see the dude, man? They immediately started connecting it to January 6th. Immediately. As soon as the threat came in. Oh, the January 6th. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, of course he was a white dude. I mean, I'm sure the mainstream propaganda media immediately ejaculated when they realized he was white and they could use it to talk about white supremacy, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's obviously a crazy person. But,
And big shout out to Bear Independent, because that's where I first heard it from, was Bear Independent. Just Josh sent it to me.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Seriously.
Huge shout out. People stay on it in this community, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, Native.
What they say? Keep your ears to the something.
That's right.
Grindstone.
Grindstone. There it is.
Perfect timing, wasn't it? Everything. Perfect timing, brother. Everything fit in place. Everything. Seriously. The color. You know what I'm saying? The motivation.
Right.
The time frame.
Just
perfect.
His whole look, his facial look, it looked like one of us. You know what I mean? In the community type thing.
Perfect. Too perfect.
Right.
And how fast was that? How fast did they let you know? Like, usually when it's somebody from another country or something like that, like they won't let you know for a whole day sometimes, whether it was a girl, woman, black, white, Asian.
Yeah.
But they let you know quick on this one.
Facts.
Yeah, they did. I think he's an FBI agent, to be honest. That's my opinion. I think he's an undercover FBI agent.
Bro, they didn't take him out. That's for sure. They didn't take him out.
And I seen the press conference. They didn't even talk that bad about him. Like the cop actually said, "Well, his mother died and he's going through some problems." And I was like, "Whoa!"
I know.
This dude was just threatening to boom in DC, and you're taking up for the dude. Like, that's why when you say FBI agent, it makes you think like,
right.
Yep.
And then he said he's one of 5. Well, what does that mean? That's what the dude said when they called him. I'm just one of 5. Yep. Where's the other 5? So now they've already sowed the seed that there's 5 other motherfuckers out there trying to do this with no evidence. No evidence that he's telling the truth. They're going to run with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I am glad that you guys are hitting the points that I like. My antennas went up when I heard this shit. I was like, oh, okay, so maybe his mom died. Maybe that's the reason for all this, And then, like I appreciate that. I'm not crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. Man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
just real quick, I want to throw this in there because I sent y'all the links, and I just want to get this out the way. But I just want to, let people be aware that, because some are saying there's food shortages, some are saying there's not. But in the UK, I forget what the name. Do y'all remember the name of it's a fast food chain in the UK, and they're shutting down more than 40 places because of food shortages. That was their excuse. Because of food shortages, it would be like if McDonald's shut down 40 stores because there's food shortages here or something.
Yeah,
right.
That's pretty. I mean, to have it written up and right in your face to tell you, hey, there's food shortages going on in the UK. That's something, man.
Hey, PT, I'm gonna tell you.
Nando's fast food.
Yes, okay. Nando's fast food. Yep.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. I am seeing, seriously, like I did a video and I was like, I was in a Dollar General and then I went to the dollar store or something, and I actually saw like bare shelves. So for me, that's stacked to the rafters time for me. You know what I mean? That's like,
no doubt.
I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it on the tubes. I'm hearing it, and then when I actually see it, no, It doesn't matter if it's legit or if it's not legit. As a preparedness mindset person, I'm acting accordingly.
Yeah,
seriously.
No doubt.
100%, brother.
Also, about 15 minutes before the show started, guess what LA did? They made the thing mandatory for 12 years and up to go to school.
Hey.
12-year-olds?
12 years and up to go to school in Los Angeles. Am I right, babe? Am I right on that?
We wasn't gonna talk about it.
Am I right about that? I
you did say that.
I just want to get this out real quick.
Native
mandatory in LA. 12
I got a lot to
LA
say.
County.
Man, I hear you, Native.
That could be the start of something. I know they're saying, of course, in the write-up, they're saying, well, the overwhelmingly majority of the parents are for it. And I'm like, of course you're going to say that. You're not going to sit there and say, is you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? So
how can you verify a statement like that? Oh, the majority of the parents said, how do I know that shit? I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Man, Humble, what's up, man? Man, I want to talk about it, man, but I just feel like that video you sent me today on Instagram, Tribe, of the doctor talking about how there's already
please
been
please don't. You
started.
No, we just started the live.
All right, man. All right. We'll talk about it on Discord where there's free speech still.
Now you can talk about it, man. You know how to beat around the words, but I feel
I was just
going to
say he said there's been 10,000 deaths because of a certain thing that people have gotten to fight a certain disease, and he said when you do trials for a certain thing, you know, to fight a certain disease, if 50 people die, you stop the trial. Because it's not good, because human life is being lost, and the fact that there's 10,000, he's like, what's going on? He doesn't this guy was a medical doctor. I'm just saying.
So get on that Discord, because we can give more information over there. Native's Discord. Everybody's sharing info, and you can get the word out.
Let's go in,
a lot more.
Go in there. Yes, everything you want to say. The election was 100%. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna go there. Just say it on Discord.
Right.
Can I just say this, since we're tiptoeing into this and then we're gonna jump out of it, right? Can I just say this, fam? I've preached we need to stick together. We need to stick together because the battlefield will change. Okay, so I'm just gonna touch on this and I'm gonna shut up about the whole walkie. But number 3 is coming around. Number 3.
September. That's what I heard. In September they're gonna start it.
Number 3. So those who haven't seen number 1, right?
Gina.
I don't even know if I want to say anymore, but I'm pissed. It is what it is, but I'm pissed. And it's more of the division. That is what this is. The number 3 is more of the division. So now it's mandatory. Right? I'm like, no. Y'all got me on the first one. No. Now you want a number 3. They are not going to stop. This is the new system. They are not going to stop. So you can imagine if you have people who are happy with number 3, those who haven't had number 1, you can imagine the divide, the disparity, the division between the ones that are happy with
number 3, man. Could you imagine the psychopaths who are like, oh, I can't wait to get mine?
Hey, I just want people to understand what we're looking at here. That is it. And I want you to understand that the conflict goes beyond those who have and those who have not. The conflict is still growing between those who have and those who will continue. That is a new conflict that those who have not don't even understand.
I want to add one more thing. So I can get y'all away from this damn.
I'm gonna shut up.
Jabberwonky.
I'm sorry, man. I saw POTB in the chat, and I
POTB.
I know you.
I got a wreck. You know, it's like Pop B's in the house.
Pop B. But one more quick thing. we read an article, and the headline was President Biden is seeking what was it?
Mandate.
No, what was he seeking? Legal action. He was seeking legal action against the governors that are going against the muzzle mandates.
I heard
Do
that.
it.
That's
Do
our
it, Biden, you
president.
piece of shit.
That's our president trying to step in on states, which the last president wouldn't do no matter what. He left states alone, let them do what they do, and now look what happens when you get this dude in there.
Hey,
legal action against voted in people that we voted in different states. He wants to have legal action against them because of the muzzle mandates. Man, come on.
And you know there are federal judges appointed by Obama. Obama appointed like 62 some federal judges who they're going to go through in these states to because Biden's been losing legal battle after legal battle from Texas and Arizona and Florida. They've been suing him over his executive orders, and he's been losing. The mainstream propaganda media is not reporting on it, but it's happening constantly. And these states are overturning his stuff. Even on the border, they have gone back in the Texas border and the Arizona border. They've gone back to Trump's original plan for the border of stay in Mexico, his stay in Mexico policy, because the judges are overturning his executive orders.
Yeah.
So now this is them trying to step in and use their judge. It's all political. It's political warfare. You know, the Republic's falling, guys. There's nothing we can do to stop it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous.
And the big thing, and I'm gonna say it loud because, you know, we want this to get out, man. We do this. We're reaching people. We're over 100 in the chat, which is lovely. All y'all that support us every time, love y'all to death. But Afghanistan, man, Afghanistan, all the stuff that's going on with Afghanistan, pulling out the troops over there. They won't. What is it? Come on, Native, take it over, man. There's so much going on. I get so frustrated, man. My mind goes nuts when it. But Afghanistan, bro.
I just want to point out this, and you guys may disagree, and the whole thing with Biden seemed political at first. Like he said, I'm going to be the president. Who the buck stops with me. I'm going to pull our troops out of Afghanistan. You know, it's Trump had already started. He had a plan in place to do it safely. And I want to point this out too, that Afghanistan had turned a corner, and we weren't technically, if you really look at it from the standpoint, you know, from a military standpoint, we weren't technically at war anymore. The country was under control. The last soldier who died in combat was February 20th, 2020, over a year ago.
Really?
There was the scale down of troops in Afghanistan was lower. I told you guys this before the live. An aircraft carrier has over 6,000 troops on it. There were less than that in Afghanistan. There was more troops in Korea, Japan, Australia, Kuwait, Qatar, Italy, Germany. I can go on and on. We have more troops in these countries than we do in Afghanistan. So if we're really in hardcore war there, so everything we're seeing now is propaganda, and it was planned. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know why Biden did this, other than he's just doing what he's told. And it seems like they're just trying to discredit him as a president for some reason. That's all I got right now. You know, what's going on in Afghanistan is ridiculous, man. And the way that they're handling it, like their nonchalant attitude, part of it, I think, is just to distract us. But there's real human life being lost in a horrible way.
Absolutely.
I seen on the news today, for the first time I watched Fox News today, man. There was just so much going on. Plus the DC thing was going on. That's right next to me. They showed a picture of a guy holding a child, and the child was covered in blood, and the child did not have any movement whatsoever.
Wow.
And Biden sitting there having a interview with whoever it was, and he's saying nobody's dying over there. Well, at least nobody's dying. And it's like, are you that?
Yeah.
Do you really think that we sit here and believe? All the media have said that there's people. What are you talking about? Like, what
Right.
is wrong with this dude? How can he sit there and just act like that, man?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, for me, I'm trying to figure this thing out, PT Native. I'm trying to figure this thing out because it is not making sense to me. It is not. And then I caught a little bit of Glenn Beck, right? And we've all heard like T-Man's plan for this, and Biden Potato is supposedly following T-Man's plan. No, that's not what's happening. That's Native. We talked about
Not
this.
at all. Yep.
Man,
T-Man's plan. Love him.
He.
Don't love
Yeah,
him.
man.
T-Man's plan was logical. It was business-like.
Exactly. His plan, and we're going to look at it later on, man. In his plan, we wouldn't even have known they were doing it. That's how, like, the scale down was safe for everybody, the Afghan people and our people on the ground. There are 10 to 15,000 American citizens still trapped in Afghanistan, and the Biden administration says we don't have the resources to save them. The fuck you talking about, man?
Yeah. Every man for
10
himself,
to 15,000 American citizens still there. To put that in perspective, in the city, the little country town I live in, there's 8,500 citizens here. So more than the population of my entire city is still in Afghanistan. An entire small American town population is still in Afghanistan. And our government, our president says, we just don't have the resources to help y'all. If y'all come to,
That's
what do you
acceptable.
mean?
Shelter in place. He told them to shelter in place, and then you got to make your own way to the airport if you want to get up out of there. Because and listen to the authority, which the only authority there right now is the Taliban. So in other words, he's telling 10 to 15,000 Americans to bow down to the Taliban and see if you can make it to the airport by yourself, because we're not supposed to leave not one person behind. Yeah. Much rather 10 to 15,000 Americans behind. But I have a special guest coming on, and he's a very special guest to me. This is somebody who I respect. This man I respect more than probably any man I know living today.
Yeah.
And also, I just gotta say he served. He's a U.S. Army Sergeant Major.
Oh shit.
He retired in 1995. Then, as a member of the Department of Defense Contract Training Team in Mazar-e-Sharif and Gardet, man,
he knows what's
in
up.
Afghanistan. He was out there training in Afghanistan, training troops and stuff in Afghanistan. But he also trained troops in Tanzania. Man, for the Somalian thing that went on and stuff. Man, he could probably tell you better. I'm probably messing it all up. He's probably gonna cuss me out. But I mean, he's wrote 3 books. 2 of the books was about Vietnam. I mean, he's been on the scenes for a long time. Yeah. Very special to me. I'm gonna bring him on, man. He's very awesome. Y'all are gonna love him.
Hell yeah, we need that. Hey, are you bringing him on now?
What's up?
Good evening, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yes
sir.
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. You sound great.
Hey, it worked. Denise gave me very good directions on how to make this connection, so everything's working.
She's a pro. She's a pro.
Absolutely.
She's the brains behind the whole operation.
I got to listen to a little bit of what you folks were talking about before I came on. And James, thanks for the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give you my background. I did retire from the Army back in '95 as a sergeant major. Served in Vietnam. I was a draftee back in 1967. Drafted into the Army. I was trying to get into the Air Force, but they didn't want me, and so I got my letter from Uncle Sam that said I want you. So I ended up in the Army.
Their loss.
And so I was in Vietnam. I was in communications intelligence. There's not a whole lot I can tell you what I did over there. It's probably all declassified now, but I just I'm old school, where some of the stuff I heard, saw, and passed along. It was, I had a security clearance above top secret. It was a code word clearance, special compartmentalized clearance. So a lot of the stuff that I knew that was going on over there, I was able to filter down and to the point where I could understand it. I know we're not here to talk about Vietnam, but I draw a correlation between what happened in Vietnam and just what happened in Afghanistan, and a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
I can tell you when I was in Vietnam that the information I had access to, essentially what we did, we would disseminate the information to the Green Beret, to the Rangers, and to the other combat troops in Vietnam. For them, we would locate where the enemy were and determine what they were doing, and then we would provide that information to the combat troops to go do something about it.
Right.
But in the course of doing that, just like my time in Afghanistan, which I'll talk about, and now I'm a 19-year-old kid. I'm dumb as they come. I'm 19 years old. I think I'm going to live forever. I was relatively safe because where I was in Vietnam, I was with the 25th Infantry Division, but we were not allowed. We were not allowed to enter into direct combat because of the equipment that we had. Our cryptological equipment was more important than fighting the enemy. In fact, should our position become overrun or unattainable, we had thermite grenades. You guys familiar with thermite grenades? You pull the pin, drop it, it just melts everything. It melts iron. Well, we had these boxes we called gray boxes, and they were the cryptological equipment, and they were lead. Had a lead shell to them. They weighed like 150 pounds, so it took two guys to carry them, and they weren't much bigger than an office printer, a small desktop printer.
150
But anyway,
pounds?
yeah. If our position became overrun, we weren't supposed to go to the bunkers to protect it. We were supposed to grab those thermite grenades and stay inside our compound. And if it got when we got the word that we were going to be overrun, unscrew the top of the cryptological boxes, put the thermite grenades on, pull the pin, and just run like hell. Wow. And then we can save ourselves. But the cryptological boxes were the first to go. But in the course of handling that type of information, even as a 19 and 20-year-old, I saw that what we were doing in Vietnam wasn't going to work the way it was conducted because it was only the United States. We had the Australians over there and some Koreans over there. But we didn't have, at least from what I saw, from the information that I saw, there was too much support from the Chinese and the Russians. And later on, we found out that there was a big spy ring back here in the United States that was passing along some of the information that I had access to the enemy, actually to the Russians, who passed it to the Chinese and then passed it to the Vietnamese. So it gives you a little bit of background on my Vietnam adventure. I actually got out of the Army for 2 years and then rejoined the Army and then stayed in, became a lifer. So, and my last assignment in the Army as a sergeant major, I was working, I had the same clearance as when I retired as I had in Vietnam. I was working actually with NORAD, just U.S. Space Command out in Colorado Springs. And I can tell you a lot of the stuff that you hear about the UFOs and stuff like that. I'm so glad they came out and said they can't explain it because they were monitoring that stuff back in 1995 in NORAD and in Space Command. They were doing it. And they had satellites in space that were monitoring other satellites. And they said they were in space because there's a lot of junk that's floating around in space, from spaceships and things. Yes, and they had satellites up there, I guess I should say, satellites that could pick up something the size of a boat. You're talking maybe, 2 inches, maybe that big in space, pinpoint where it was, and broadcast that stuff back to whoever was monitoring the space station. Anyway,
I'm listening.
They could alter course to avoid that space junk.
Right.
So, in the course of doing that, they would also, because there was, I don't know if you guys ever saw the film. Anyway, there was a portion of the film that was inside Cheyenne Mountain, where NORAD is. And they have the three big screens, and it shows that they're showing things that are going, well, that's true. In fact, they had more than that. But they would always have one screen to one side that was showing this other stuff would pop up. And the other stuff would be the things that we would call the UFOs. And it was, there's another one, and they would record it. So the stuff was going on, but they didn't make light of it until here recently, and then that was that's kind of blown up.
How long ago was that?
This was 1994, 95. I retired in 95, so it was 1994 and 95.
And it took them this long to come out with something. That's almost, 30 years?
Yeah.
Almost,
so,
yeah.
But I think someone mentioned stuff going on as being a diversion. I think all that stuff was diverting us from what was happening in Afghanistan. To draw our attention away to some degree. But moving forward to Afghanistan, and again, I was listening to what some of you folks were talking about.
Yes.
I went over there as a contract for Department of Defense, and I was in Mazar Sharif, which is in the northern part of the country. And it was funny when I was over there training the Afghan army. Along with us were the Germans and the Brits in that area, and that portion of the country was at least a part of the province that I was in was as flat as a pancake. And to the north of us were the mountains, and on the other side of the mountains was the country, Uzbekistan. And what was unique was I was in a Camp Tillman in Mazar Sharif, and right outside our camp were all of these Soviet tanks and artillery pieces that the warlords surrendered to the Americans when we came into Afghanistan in 2003, I think it was, or 2001, right after, the 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave the weapons over to the Americans. Who says, "We're here now. We'll take over the fight." But what was interesting about Mazar Sharif in Balkh province, it was one of the last strongholds of the warlords, and it was also the province where a greater portion of the opium was grown in Afghanistan. And so there was a rumor to be, now I wasn't in the intelligence business then, but with the soldiers that I dealt with and talked to, rumor had it that the reason why it was relatively calm there is because the farmers were turning over the opium to the Taliban, who were selling it, and that's how they were financing some of their operations. Okay.
Wow.
So they didn't mess with Mazar Sharif in that area because we simply said, "You want us to burn this crop? We'll burn it. We'll take it out." And the Afghan government was saying the same thing. "We'll take this out." But everybody had their hand in the pot. The Taliban got some of it, and the government got some of it. When we were there to train the Afghan soldiers, we weren't there to worry about the opium crop or anything like that. But it was interesting because it was very peaceful. And one of the warlords who was absorbed into the Afghan army, and then he later went into the government. His last name is Dostan, Dosten, and I heard his name mentioned recently on talking to some of the people, some of the Afghan officials. So apparently he was still in the government up to this day. Well, when he was there, the Taliban, that's one of the reasons why they didn't mess with that province, because he was there and he was a warlord. He kicked ass. He said, I don't care who you are, I'll kill you. And the other thing about that particular province was it was close to Uzbekistan, which had I guess they had a history with Afghanistan of being warlike to them. And there was always a thought if the Taliban came in, if they took control of the province at that time, that the Uzbekistan army would come across and fight the Taliban. That didn't happen, so I don't know if that rumor was true or not.
Sorry, Major, could I ask you this? I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask, you're talking about Uzbekistan and their relationship in Afghanistan. I've always said that Afghanistan is so fractured with the tribalism within its own country, with the Uzbeks, because I know that's one of the main tribes
Uzbek, yes.
there. Mm-hmm. Is that why? I mean, is that what the Uzbekistan?
I was going to mention, I think there's 5 main tribes in Afghanistan: Uzbeks, Tajiks.
There's
There's the Pashtuns.
So many more. Yeah, so many more too.
And the
Yeah.
Pashtuns are like the upper class ones.
Ah,
They're like in
Yeah.
the eastern
Mhm.
part of the country. And
Right.
then you had the
Native actually served too. Just to let you know, Native was in the
ah.
military too.
Thank you for
oh
sharing.
yeah. Oh. So and I forget the name of the tribe that's on that piece of Afghanistan that runs up into China, and they were the Asian looking ones. The Chinese,
Wow.
that was a
Oh,
different
wow.
tribe. So there's like 5 main tribes there, and
So I mean, do they even recognize the border? These different tribes. I
they
mean,
I think
do the borders mean anything to them?
I don't know if there was if you're talking about was there a lot of moving in across the border. I'm sure there was. I know that the bridge that went from Balk province, Afghanistan, into Uzbekistan, whatever that river was. I think there
Yeah.
was a guard shack on the Afghan side, but there was an open border on the other side. So
Wow.
if you can get
Oh,
by the
wow.
Afghan guard leaving, you can just go into the country.
Yeah.
Now, where
Okay.
that bridge was very desolate because it was high desert. I mean, it was not very inviting country, and it's probably why it was not guarded. Um, but to get back to the tribal issues there, um, the Pashtuns were in the eastern part of Afghanistan, and I was also when I left Mazar Sharif, I came back to the States for a while, and I went back over, and I was in Gardez, which is an eastern part of the country. And it's funny how how the people there, I know we talk about racism in this country, um, and the racism over there wasn't based on your skin color; it was based on your tribe.
Wow.
That's my understanding of it because um, there were people in the Afghan army. My job was to teach the Afghan army. Along with we worked side by side with active duty or National Guard or reserve soldiers. We had Air Force there, we had the Marines there, we had the Navy there, Coast Guard was there, and we did with the Allied nations. The issue I had in Afghanistan training soldiers for instance, I was a chief advisor to a brigadier general, an Afghan brigadier general, who was, I wish I could remember the name of that tribe, the Chinese, anyway, the Asian looking. And he had a Tajik, an Uzbek, and a bunch of Pashtun soldiers and other officers under him. And
Right.
not one of those other officers, or NCOs for that matter, respected that general. Because he was easy. He wasn't like them. And they would, he had and he was one of the most um, diligent. He of all the officers that I did mentor some NCOs as well. But of all the officers that I mentored, he had to be the one that was trying to do his damnedest to get things done correctly. You tell me what I need to do. Show me what I need to do. Let's work together. His biggest problem was trying to get his staff to work with him. And it wasn't because his staff wasn't trained, because we had other people training his staff, and I trained some of his staff also. It was that he didn't look like the rest of them. He was an Asian. He had the Asian features. The Pashtuns are more, uh, I don't know, like Indians or whatever. They're more
Yeah.
they're more social. Their social
Right.
is more into Pakistan. The
So, I mean,
Tajiks.
do you think this is one of the main factors to why the Afghan army that we've been building for 20 years is so, for lack of a better word,
failed.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, because there's no, like you just said, they didn't respect their own general because he was from a different tribe. I mean, is that like the root of why the Afghan army is just not capable of?
I would have to, in my opinion, it is because there were times where I would have to argue on the general's behalf to get something done with an NCO. In my job as a contractor, I wasn't allowed. I was supposed to be neutral because I'm a trainer, and I'm not supposed to pick a side. But when I'm training, I have a brigadier general who is in charge of probably a group of about 800 people. Um, and they're not showing him the respect due him because of his rank. And that's all I'm looking at to make sure he gets the
Right.
respect due his rank. There were times I'd have to step in and just say, you're nuts, you're foolish. And I had interpreters, and I would actually get into an argument and say some things that my interpreter refused to interpret. And I said, well, I understand that because you, as a young man, can't say that to an older man. And we had that thing going on too. I said, but I'm just telling you, as clearly as you can enunciate it in your own language, tell this person what I just said. So I honestly believe that is one of the reasons why there was a collapse. It wasn't necessarily because we weren't there, because we trained those guys. I can tell you, there were some, obviously, in any army, you're going to find some units that are much better than others, and some units that are simply just not effective because of leadership corruption or whatever. But I was associated with two different divisions, the 209th Division up in Mazar Sharif and the 203rd Division in Gardez. We had a fine bunch of young people. I can say young people because of my age, but we had a fine bunch of young soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen, males and females, who worked their asses off to train those people and make sure they did what they had to do and do it right.
Right.
I wasn't in the combat role. In my company, we were not employed as combat trainers. We trained administration, logistics, medical, things of that nature. But talking to people who did accompany the Afghans on patrol and stand there and be with them while they were being ambushed or while they got into some combat, I did not hear a bad thing about the soldiers at all. They said they fought like they were trained to fight. So I think, Native, what you're saying is the root of what happened, in my humble opinion, is because there was that racial divide by the tribe. I call it the tribe. I don't want to say racial because it really wasn't racial. It was tribal.
Right.
The tribal divisions within the country. Because I know I tell Prepper and Nisi, I say, hey, when you talk to my experience, when talking to like my interpreters, all young men probably between the ages of 20 and 30, spoke English perfectly, wrote in diary, wrote in English, translated I was talking, translate what I wrote. They had all, at one time or other, been out of the country while the first checked in with their families because the Americans were there. And they took jobs as translators. But I would talk to them about religion and about things, about their society and their history. And they would say Afghans identify themselves with their tribes. Like we say we're Americans, right? But an Afghan says, I'm a Tajik.
So they have no sense of being
no
Afghans.
Sense of collective
Gotcha.
Collective
of being a nation. They don't care about it.
It was tribal, and that's why when the Taliban were over there fighting, they had trouble taking over all of Afghanistan because the like I was saying, the warlords said, not in my watch, not in my territory, not in my town, not in my city.
Right.
You can do what you want to in Kabul, you can do what you want to in Mazar Sharif, but you ain't doing it here. And I'm going to make sure you don't.
The Taliban and them were scared of them.
Yeah, they actually were, and that's why they meaning the Taliban, assassinated a lot of the warlords.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you a question. I want to word it right though, but why do you think this has happened? Why do you think all of a sudden Biden did this, wants to yank everybody out, all mayhem breaks loose? What do you think the plan is behind that? Why did they do this?
Actually, Prepper, I think there was no plan, and that's why it happened. I think that I think you were talking about it, Josh. You were talking about Trump.
Yes.
He was going to do it, but he said how he was going to do it, but not when.
Exactly.
And he said, and if you don't, meaning you, Taliban, you mess with me, it's off. The deal's off, and we're going to start from square one.
Okay.
So, in answer to your great question, because Trump is Trump, and I'm obviously returning political here, that's fine. Trump is Trump and Biden is Biden. Biden says Trump is playing, no, can't do it. Can't do it. It's not going to work. This is what we're going to do. Okay, what are you going to do? And then he makes a public broadcast. We're getting out of there on August 31st. That's like telling the enemy, or telling the bank robber, I'm going to leave the bank doors open and the vault unlocked at 8, at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to walk away.
Right.
So that's the answer to that question, Prepper. There was no plan. There was no plan. And
just an incompetent
it's
president.
To me,
Right.
It's insulting to me as a military guy, native probably the same, is the fact that he thinks we're stupid. That we actually thought that he had a plan, and they just didn't see what was going to happen. I don't think that's true. They didn't have a plan. He made a statement. He couldn't back down from his statement, and this is what happened.
Where does this go?
Let me get one more question in real quick before Just Josh gonna hit you with some questions. But
no.
Nisi talked to me. Nisi talked to me earlier, and she said something that you said to me. So I'm just gonna ask the question. But let's say you were contracting in Afghanistan today, right now. You were over there right now. Would you be nervous? Would you be scared? Are these 10 to 15,000 American citizens over there?
My mind is boggled about that, where they don't know where they can't get this. It's I can't even comment to that. I'm stunned. But to answer your question, Pepper, I couldn't carry a weapon. I wasn't allowed to carry a weapon. If I was caught with a weapon, I'd be fired. We didn't have them. Okay. But I can tell you, we knew where to get them if we had to have them. When I would, and to give you an example of how things deteriorated when I was over there, when I first got there, I landed in Kabul, and we had to go to Mazar Sharif, and that was, 200 miles, probably 200 miles to the northwest.
Okay.
Beautiful drive, by the way. Hopefully someday you can see that it's just a beautiful up through the mountains and everything. But we did it in the Ford pickups, F-150s, and a couple up-armored Humvees. Convoyed it. Nothing happened. Pulled to the side of the road, did some rest stops and everything. When I left, I was in Gardez, and to get to Kabul, we could only fly on a helicopter because the roads were unsafe.
Wow. And that's later on.
Yeah. That's later on. That was in 2010. I left there in 2010. We weren't allowed. We could not go in a convoy.
Really?
We would drive. We had drivers. We weren't allowed to drive, but we had SUVs, and we had Afghan drivers. They drive us. If we had to go into Kabul, take the SUV, go to Kabul. We would do that. No weapons, nothing.
Wow.
And then when I left, we couldn't even get in a convoy. We had to fly. Not just us, but the only soldiers, the only non-combatants, the only way they could travel were in helicopters. They wouldn't even put us in up-armored Humvees anymore.
Wow.
And the reason for that is they needed the extra 1 or 2 soldiers in there in case they got attacked, rather than 2 unarmed passengers, right? We were a liability at that point.
That's crazy.
So, but anyway, if I was over there now, I'd be scared to death. Scared. I have not been scared too many times in my life, but I can imagine what some of those people are feeling like that are outside of Kabul. Maybe not so much in Kabul, but outside of Kabul, where your president says, hunker down, shelter in place. And then get to the airport. Okay, Mr. President, how am I getting you? Well, we're working on it. Don't worry about it. Now, if you think for one moment the Taliban are going to say, that's okay, don't worry about it. They can stay here as long as they can until they can get to Kabul.
Wow.
Anyway, that's just my take on it. And I hope I answered your question. But,
you did.
I appreciate you.
Just one more question real quick. You've been military since you were 19. That somewhere around 50 years you've and you pay attention. I know you pay attention to everything that goes on with the government, with military, everything. In your entire life, have you ever seen our government just leave our citizens to the wind like they're doing with this? Just saying,
That's a
you
good
know, you're
question.
on your. To me, it's like we're
That's a
leaving a
damn good
man
question.
behind, but it's 10 or 15,000 men behind.
No, when people draw the comparison between Vietnam, and I hate that when they do that, between
Saigon.
Vietnam and Afghanistan. First of all, our military was out of Vietnam for 2 years when Vietnam collapsed. We were done. We were out of there. We
Okay.
had nobody in
Wow.
country. We weren't fighting the war. So to draw that comparison with what's going on in Afghanistan really galls me because we weren't there.
Hmm.
The panic that ensued in Vietnam obviously was not from the villagers, not from the outlying masses. It was from the people in the city of Saigon and other places, but particularly Saigon, who, let's face it, Saigon was like New York or Philly or Atlanta. It was a nice city, quiet, calm, middle class. It had its issues, obviously, but I think the people that we were talking about rescuing there, a lot of them were American civilians and Vietnamese civilians who had worked for the United States Army. And as it turned out, because my ex-wife, Lisa's mother, is Vietnamese.
Okay.
And her family remained in Vietnam after that, after the war. And they were unaffected by anything that happened. So the horrendous, there were some killings and some assassinations of political and government people in Vietnam after the war. And there was some re-education of teachers and soldiers after the war. But let me tell you something. In 1996, I went back to Vietnam. And, Macy's mother went to Vietnam to visit her family. And I said, what the heck? I'm going to go too. So I went back to Vietnam in 1996. And I couldn't believe what I saw. I said, everything in Vietnam, it was like being at home. It was being like being in Chinatown, in a big city. Okay. It was just, it's amazing. They were selling American automobiles. They had hotels going up. They had, it was a quiet, peaceful, beautiful city. And if there was communists, you couldn't have told me it was communist. You would not have known you're in a communist city. And what I thought was unusual is when I went over there, I asked my ex-wife, because she was staying with her mother, where are we going to stay? We'll stay in a hotel. She said, no, I have it taken care of. I said, oh, okay. And she said, you're only going to pay, I think it was $20 a day. I go, oh, this has got to be a, what kind of hotel, $20 a day.
Yeah.
But I get over there, and because she had arranged to have a car, and she said, we're going to stay. I can't remember the name of that was on the building, but as I walked in, I saw obviously the Vietnamese, communist Vietnamese flag, and there was a soldier at the gate. I go, what the heck is this? Where are we going here?
Right.
And she said, this is a guest house. I said, a guest house? Well, just to show you the difference in what maybe is going to happen in Afghanistan versus what happened in Vietnam. I was a guest. The Vietnamese, because I was retired from the United States Army, they put us up in a Vietnamese Army guest house. We had an air-conditioned room. We had our own bathroom. And I thought, this is incredible. Mm-hmm. This is incredible, the way they treated me, And they were very respectful and everything.
It was like VIP.
That was a VIP treatment, And she said, this is better than any hotel because I've seen hotels and this is better. And I go, okay.
Uh-huh.
But the one other interesting story about that trip, my revisit to Vietnam, or two of them actually. But when I went to visit her mother, I went to her mother's house and we had dinner and everything. And it was after dinner one evening, I saw this person walking back and forth in front of the house on the street, an older gentleman with gray hair. And so I asked my ex, I said, well, who's this guy? What's he want? So she talked to her mother, and I guess her mother said, oh, he's a VC. He was VC. And I said, really?
Wow.
And so he pointed.
VC was the northern Vietnam.
You come here.
Right? That was the
So
what? What was that like, Sergeant Major? I mean, knowing he
that-
was on the opposite side.
Yeah,
and
that's
you are.
well. Here's the thing. I went out and I talked to him. I said, he did the Asian thing, bowing, and we shook hands. And through an interpreter, through my wife or my ex-wife is an interpreter. He said he asked me where I was, what unit I was with, what I did, and he was up north. And he came in and he fought around Pleiku, which is in north or central Vietnam. And I asked, he told me what unit he was in. I don't remember. And I said I was with the 25th Infantry Division at Cu Chi. Oh, Cu Chi, and he started talking about because Cu Chi. We found out later there was a big DC headquarters underneath the base camp, the U.S. Army base camp in Cu Chi.
Wow.
But they kind of heard the tunnel wraps. There was a base camp anyway.
Yeah.
So he was talking about that he was he says, we're not enemies now. I said, no, we're not enemies now. Obviously, we're not enemies. And it was a very short conversation, but he said, I've never met an American. You're the first American I met. So I felt honored that he would,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
we treated each other respectfully and we went our separate ways.
Yeah.
Is that you think that's going to be possible with Afghanistan?
No, not at all. See, that's the other
me
thing. I'm going
neither.
to tell you something, and I say this from the bottom of my heart. And not just because Nisi has a kinship with the Vietnamese, but because what we couldn't do when we were over there fighting that war in Vietnam happened after we left. And I think it was because we were over there. You look at Vietnam now. I mean, just Google Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City and see what it looks like. And everything that's going on over there is because of what the Vietnamese gained from our being there, even though we didn't, quote unquote, did not win the war. When we left, the Russians came in. They did diddly squat for the Vietnamese. They wanted their rice. They wanted their oil. They wanted their fish and all this other stuff for exports. Chinese did the same thing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off.
No, that's quite all right. Sometimes I ramble, so that's okay.
I am learning so much from you right now. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That's all right.
Where is Afghanistan headed? I can't wrap my head around it.
To be honest with you, I think they'll have a civil war because I don't think.
Okay.
Well, let me backtrack here. And I think Nietzsche just told me today that the Chinese and the Russians have already recognized the Taliban government. Is that true?
Seriously?
That's true.
No, I'm serious. I don't know. That's what I heard. That's true?
China definitely has. They put out a statement.
Okay.
Well, that's your answer.
Oh,
That's your answer.
no.
They're going to use them as a staging ground for whatever it is that they intend to do in this war.
Absolutely.
See, and that's the difference when they compare Vietnam to Afghanistan. There's no comparison because even though Vietnam is a communist country, it has a middle class. It has well, you wouldn't even know it's a communist country because even though Saigon is officially called Ho Chi Minh City, nobody calls it that. They call it Saigon, and it will always be called Saigon. So to answer your question, I think internally, the Chinese or the Russians are going to make sure that there is no civil war.
Okay.
Because there are no more warlords; they're gone.
Yeah.
And because there are no warlords, something is going to have to fill that gap
Gotcha.
to make sure that the Taliban, even though they overrun the country, now they're playing nice. I don't trust them.
Okay.
And I think the Russians and the Chinese, I don't think they don't need Afghanistan. It has mineral resources that have not been exploited. I believe it probably has some oil and gas. That might be what they're after. But I think you know what they're doing? They see this big pile of shit that we left. They're rubbing their faces in it.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And that's all.
You know what, Sergeant Major? Also, the Chinese are brokering a deal with the Taliban. There's rumored to be $1 trillion worth of rare earth minerals in the mountains in Afghanistan.
Yes.
So I'm sure China's trying to get at that.
Exactly. You know what's the stuff that makes they need for cell phones? What is that?
Lithium.
Lithium.
Yeah.
You wait. You
Mm.
wait.
Okay.
They're going to corner the market on that. Or some other gold. Maybe there's gold
I
there.
believe it. I
Yeah.
believe it.
Did y'all hear about what is it? The Ford company is shutting down some stuff because they don't have the computer chips to make the cars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you looked at your car dealers? How many car dealers have a lot of cars on their lots? Very
Yeah.
few of them. I know here, you're lucky if you see six new models on a lot, and they'll tell you the chips. We don't have the chips. We can't get the chips,
And that's China.
Yep.
Lithium.
and they're controlling that. They probably are controlling what we're using right now to some degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this. This is kind of off topic, real quick. I just want to get it in because anybody that comes up or anybody in the chat, we always ask. But are you seeing any food shortages or anything going on around
No.
where you're staying?
no,
It's all pretty good.
it's good.
Yeah.
And
South
and
Carolina,
you're-
we got it going on. All right.
Where
Our
are you at,
governor
South
don't-
Carolina?
he's in Pennsylvania now.
Nate,
Oh, okay.
Nate, where are you in South Carolina?
I'm about 45 minutes from Florence, South Carolina.
Okay, I lived in Columbia for 10 years.
That's what Nisi had told me
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. And I retired. I went into the Army at Fort Jackson as a private and retired there as a sergeant major. So I
Wow.
made full
Oh, wow.
circle.
Yeah, full circle. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool.
So any
Yeah.
questions, guys? Any questions? I whatever I'm telling you is from my own observation and from some things that I know to be true.
Right.
But I don't speculate on as much as I would like to get into a very long and
Right.
meaningful conversation about how crappy this country is becoming because of our leadership. I don't want to
Yeah.
really go there tonight.
Right.
I just
You know
want
what?
to-
I
we all
did want
agree
to
with-
ask you one thing. I wanted to ask you one thing because you've been on the ground, because you've experienced Vietnam. My dad was an army vet, and he said something similar to what you said about, decades later. He said so much blood and death was here, and now Vietnam's a tourist.
Yeah,
It really
it
is. He says it's a beautiful place to go now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to ask you about getting back to the tribalism, because you were there and you saw the people and how they reacted to what was going on. I was thinking about this the other day. You know, we've been there for 20 years, and there have been children born in Afghanistan, young girls born in Afghanistan who grew up in a place where they could go to school, they learned to read and write, learn to drive, and go on. Some of them went to college.
Yep.
And have become a part of the military there, all kinds of things. And they've never known the Taliban. But we were talking about the tribalism earlier. When you were there, like, what was the sense of younger people coming up under the occupation of the United States military and being experienced to this level of freedom? I mean, did you ever see anyone like that who were just glad we were there in spite of the tribalistic nature of the elders there?
I had really no interaction with children or women actually in Afghanistan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh no,
Okay.
Let me put it this way: in Cortez, we did have a hospital. They called it a regional hospital, which the U.S. Army, Air Force, and the Polish military staffed. Okay, and in part of their staffing, they were training doctors, nurses, technicians, and everybody in the Afghan army to do what we did. So, in that regard, we did sometimes see women as nurses, civilian nurses there in the hospital, but we had no interaction with them. But what was interesting about the hospital, since we were the closest hospital, probably 50, 60 miles, any combat casualties that the Afghans had, they would bring into that hospital. Our guys would go up to either Bagram or to Kabul or to Kandahar. They would bring their evacuated casualties to this particular hospital. And what was interesting was they would have injured Taliban coming to this hospital. And
okay.
yeah, they would bring
Wow.
them in and hold them prisoner while they were in the hospital.
Okay.
And it was amazing because they would allow the Taliban family visit them in the hospital like the Afghan soldiers' family to
Right.
visit them.
Right.
So we did have some security concerns there But I remember one of my interpreters telling me, he said, the Taliban aren't going to mess up that hospital. They're not going to do that. They said, you're safe. Don't worry about it. Because they're getting their people, they're saving Taliban soldiers to fight again. They'll put them in prison somewhere, and then somebody will pay that money to get their son out. Their Taliban fighter out. You pay the money, they get them out of jail. But to answer your question, the people that were most grateful for us being there were the interpreters that I had, because, like I said, they were young. They were probably anywhere between 20 to 30 years old, most of them. Some of them had the equivalent of college education.
Right. Okay.
All of them had come back to Afghanistan, either from Pakistan, India, Uzbekistan, Iran, and came back in when the Americans were there. And some of them started families. And I remember they talked about how happy they were that they could get during Ramadan, they could go home and see their families, and they can take care of their daughters, their children. And
right.
So I guess in that regard, there were people that were grateful they were there, and they did see the promise of what was ahead for them while we were there. And I don't think they, meaning the interpreters,
He's got a connection problem.
Who, me?
No, just Josh. Just because he dropped, I can see it down low. Just to let everybody know, he didn't dip. He just got a connection problem going on.
All right, I was just going to say that because of us being there, I never heard any of my interpreters to be anything but optimistic.
Okay.
I guess they thought things were going to work out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then I did want to ask you too, being a sergeant major, being a senior NCO, you're familiar with being responsible for not only personnel, but the equipment that personnel uses, and the responsibility not only for yourself but your NCOs underneath you, making sure that equipment is always maintained and always accounted for. And one of the things that's blown my mind throughout this whole thing is how the military just left equipment laying all over the country just to be, unmolested, just to be constant, just pretty much given to the Taliban. And that didn't make sense to me, because I know my senior NCOs, I was a junior NCO, and they would have had my ass if I would have left one rifle behind, and so I just want to get your opinion on that.
And then, so what I would have to say to that is that they would not have done that unless they were ordered to do so.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Unless somebody got a phone call down through channel saying, drop what the hell you're doing, whatever you can put in your duffel, get on the truck, we're going to the airport. Because you're exactly right. You're exactly right. You never, ever leave abandoned equipment. That's useful. And if you can't take it with you, what do you do with it? You destroy it.
You destroy it. Yes.
And they didn't do that. In Humvees
they didn't
and
do
everything
that.
else.
And there's no commander that I'm aware of, or no NCO specifically that I'm aware of, unless the Army's changed so much it's frightening, that would ever just say, get up and go.
Yeah.
Not unless somebody came to you and just told you, drop what you're doing, leave. But sir, what about? Forget it. Get on that truck. That's what happened. And that's when I hear Biden say, well, how could we not have chaos? Yeah, it's very easy. You let your commanders do their job. I don't think the Army, I don't know if this has ever come up. I don't think the military was in charge over there last few months.
Wow.
Don't seem like it.
I think it was being controlled from the Pentagon, from the White House. I honestly think that. Not by the local ground commanders. No. Because they would not have let that.
No, not at all.
All right, we got a question from the chat. I think it was Tiger asked this question. Do you think we have to worry about the Taliban attacking the U.S. here in the USA again?
If not the Taliban, somebody else. Yeah.
So we do have to worry.
Oh, I mean, that's my personal opinion. I have no way of knowing that.
Right.
But we're weak right now. I think everybody sees us as being weak. So to answer that, and again, I don't want to get on this Trump versus Biden thing. Can't help it, but I don't want to. But
It's fine.
that was not. I don't think we had to ask that question a year ago,
Right.
18 months
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point. Good point.
But now you're seeing people ask the question,
Yeah.
and I think it's because there's no leadership. Absolutely no leadership.
All right, let me ask you
Effective
this.
leadership. Anybody can lead, but nobody can. Not everybody's effective. You know.
There you go.
All right, I got a question for you. In your, years of experience, years of life, everything through the Cold War with Russia, through the Vietnam War, through everything, have you ever? Do you think that America is more vulnerable now and weaker now than it's ever been in your lifetime?
I do, but I think it's because internally we're weak
Mm.
because of we've become tribal here almost. It seems
Okay.
like we're becoming tribal, and I think that's where we're weak. We're not unified, and it's going to infiltrate. One of the things there's three things that keep a country strong. One is the military, one is the judiciary, and the other is the economy, or at least the ability to the free market. And right now, I think all three of those are becoming.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're becoming. They're being twisted, and if because right now, when I heard General Miley, because that's his name, Miley, he says he. I don't know how a four-star general, chief of staff of the arm of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, say we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't think it was going to. No one could have said it was going to last 33 days or 11 days. Yes, you would have known that if you had been in contact with your commanders on the ground in Afghanistan. And that's why I don't think they were in charge. If people on the ground in Afghanistan weren't running the war, I really honestly, in these last few months, I don't think they were. They were too focused about getting out.
Yeah.
Because even in Vietnam, we drew down and we left. There was no panic when we left. I think some people equate, and I've heard people as they make this statement, the panic when the Americans left. They had showed pictures of people being taken off the roof of the embassy in Saigon when the Americans left. I'm going, time out, time out, time out. The Americans were gone. The military was gone 2 years before that happened.
Yeah.
I wasn't panicked because we pulled out our military. And I was panicked because the Vietnamese army was losing the war. We were gone. And the other thing was that wasn't the embassy roof. That famous photograph, the helicopter and the people on the stairs going in, that wasn't even the embassy. That was photo. And I wrote this down because it was
facts, folks.
It was a Pittman building. It was another building a half a mile from the embassy. And I hear people that's the embassy. I said, no, it wasn't the embassy. They flew a helicopter into the embassy to take out the embassy employees and the embassy staff. But that picture showing the Vietnamese trying to get into the helicopter was a half a mile away from the embassy.
Okay.
Gotcha. I want to ask from the chat just because if y'all could just leave me a 1 in the chat for a big thank you for Vet70 for joining us tonight and giving us all this great info and great knowledge. If I could just get a press 1 in the chat for a big old thank you from everybody, because this has been really, really great. This has just been awesome, man. I don't know how much to thank you. You know what I mean? I don't know how to thank you enough.
I'll come back.
Awesome.
If you want,
awesome.
if you have me, I'll come back.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Write down some questions.
Yeah, and
keep me from rambling. I'll answer questions.
Yeah, and Native does live shows, and I mean you could do one-on-ones. Native is a great dude. Just Josh does live shows. He's not really doing interviews too much right now, but he might get into it. I mean,
the information.
Yes, sir. Hey, Sergeant Major,
Yes.
thank you for coming on and answering my questions. It's wonderful to meet you, and I'd
Nice
love
meeting
to
you
pick
guys,
your brain
man. Just
on
nice
all,
meeting
and all
you.
this
We'll see you
stuff.
guys again.
Your insights, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
and we got
You're
a
welcome.
ton of ones going on in the chat. A ton of ones. That's all. Everyone counts as a thank you, and there's about 100 and 200 of them in there. So
Oh, really?
everybody's
So
thinking.
other people are seeing this?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
we
gee.
actually have 151 people in the chat, and then there's
Yeah.
there's also other people watching that aren't in the chat. You won't see those numbers.
Ah,
But
Yeah.
there's a bunch of people watching, man. This has been really, really, really cool.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Can I
you're
say
very
this?
welcome.
Can I just
Very
say this?
welcome.
Real
We'll
quick?
do this again.
Awesome.
We need
Awesome.
this information.
Mhm.
Those of us who aren't military, those of us who are just kind of watching the news and just kind of seeing what's going on, we need this information because where we're at right now with everything that's going on, we don't know about tribalism. We don't know about Uzbek.
That's never talked about, is it, on the news
It's
about
not.
the tribes? But
Go ahead.
but that is the problem with that. Well, my
Yes.
humble opinion, the problem with Afghanistan is the tribalism. There's no cohesive. They're not cohesive
Yes.
as a unified population. You know, they are to a certain degree because they have, you know, obviously they have a government and laws and things like that. But from an identity standpoint,
How's the Taliban going to govern? How are they going to govern? Are they going to go back to 1980, like barbaric?
why do you think they governed that way before?
Okay.
I mean, that's.
All right.
I'm just saying. You know.
Okay.
All right. I just wanted to say you're more than welcome to hang out with us. I don't know
Well,
what kind
actually,
of schedule.
I need some coffee, but I'm going to let you guys go now. But I will come back. You know what? We'll do this again, Prepper.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
just do
indeed.
this again.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
I didn't know
much,
how it was
man.
going to go, but
It's all love. It's all love.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We need
It-
this
it made-
information.
And the thing, and just to let you know, the thing about this community, you would love this community because a lot. I know, like your political stances, your thoughts on things. You know, I know a lot of that, and it fits right in with our community. I mean, you would be a great voice. I wish you had a channel because
oh well.
it would be. You just don't know. People love to hear views and stories and all. You would have an awesome channel, and we could push the hell out of
Yes.
it. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
But I
No
really,
doubt.
really, truly appreciate you being here. I really do. And
That's
we'll
all
do
right,
it again
Prepper. I'm
soon.
glad for the invite. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll be in touch. We'll talk. We'll
Yep.
get it going again, and I'll get you hooked up so you can hook up with Native and Just Josh too. So maybe
Yes,
you could do
please.
something
Yeah.
with them and do
Just-
an
yeah,
interview with
sure.
them. It'd be really cool, really cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thanks for being here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Bam. That's what I always say.
Josh.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome.
That was
there was
awesome.
info. There was info that I
Wisdom.
had never heard before like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you, man. He's super smart, man. He knows his shit.
Oh yeah,
But
no
I-
doubt, man.
But not to hurry up and jump into something, but just to keep it rolling because we had things that we wanted to get. Did you want to show your
fire this
video,
blitz up.
Native, and get into that
Yeah,
video?
I got some. Yeah, man, I got clips to share, but I mean, well, I might skip through some of them. I'm just gonna let y'all know because we've covered a lot of the stuff. But
Native, do it.
I got some clips. Y'all know I got some clips.
Do it.
Before we
Alright,
get
well,
to the clips, I just want the chat to know I've been watching y'all. I've been keeping an eye on what you're saying, and I want to say hey to the plumbers, man, Mr. and Mrs. It's good to see y'all in chat. We love
Absolutely.
y'all. We
Feeling
miss y'all. Yes, Miss Plummer, I hope you feel better very soon. You know, I'm sorry you got the Chinese virus. Damn those Chinese. But and Mr. Plummer, I saw what you said to POTB earlier about Biden having a pulling out problem. That was funny, man. I miss your jokes, dude. I miss your jokes. But anyway,
in the chat, just one more time. Press 1 if you enjoyed the interview. That was my father-in-law. I almost said stepfather. That was my father-in-law. I've sat for hours and talked to him and just soaked up knowledge from him.
But you got to
Press 1 if you enjoyed that.
I bet.
Yeah,
You know, too
I
good.
appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Really, I was so focused on paying attention to what he was saying because a lot of this stuff I hadn't thought about the questions until you get into it and you're on here. So I couldn't pay attention to the chat and pay attention to him and what he was saying. I was trying to soak it all. I get mesmerized when he talks, man. Like I get stuck. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
appreciate the love, chat. I appreciate the love, and we still with you, man. We still with you.
right.
We gonna bust out this. Native's got something for you. I'm gonna lay back and let Native take control.
Native is about to bring this shit. I'm about to get
Boom.
fired up.
All right, let me.
For real.
All right, you ready?
Boom. Oh Lord, there he is, right there.
There he is, right there. See, I was gonna post this in a community post, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna share this tonight because it's hilarious. Because it's exactly what he's thinking. Y'all know he is. All right, I wanted to share because speaking of Trump, you know, y'all know me. I'm not like a diehard MAGA guy or anything. I think the guy did a good job. I think he had a plan with Afghanistan, and I was wondering, you know, because he had a plan to start this in May 31st, you know, because the summer is the fighting time for the Taliban. Everyone who knows anything about them knows this. This is when the fighting goes on. Winter time is when they don't fight during the winter time. Trump had a plan. So I want to start off with this right here.
Facts.
All right, guys, so take a look at this right over here from the National Pulse. Exclusive, Joe Biden's State Department halted a Trump-era crisis response plan aimed at avoiding Benghazi-style evacuations just months before Taliban takeover. Joe Biden's State Department moved to cancel a critical State Department program aimed at providing swift and safe evacuations of Americans out of crisis zones just months prior to the fall of Kabul, the National Pulse can exclusively reveal. The Contingency and Crisis Response Bureau, which was designed to handle medical, diplomatic, and logistic support concerning Americans overseas, was paused by Anthony Blinken's State Department earlier this year. Notification was officially signed just months before the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan. Sensitive but unclassified, an official State Department document.
I heard he said, man, months. They had this plan months ago for the whole thing to make sure the transition would be smooth, that people would be protected, that the handover would be smooth. They had a plan, and they also had contingency plans so that if shit started go sideways, they could halt it and stop, you know, whatever was going on, man. And like I said, under the Trump administration, February 20th was the last time a soldier died in combat in Afghanistan. February 20th, 2020. That's over a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, things were kind of under control there. The Afghan military, as sorry as they are, we supported them through air support and stuff. That's why we had less than an aircraft carrier of troops in Afghanistan, you know, because they had it under control, man. Like, and he had this plan. Biden saw it months. This wasn't like a clusterfuck. He didn't make a mistake. They had this plan months ago. He's like, screw this. We ain't doing nothing Trump did. You know, we're just going to go. We're going to just go by the seat of our pants and do whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I seen this earlier today, and I was like, what? It's unbelievable to me, man. It's so frustrating. It was done on purpose.
Oh
they
my
did
God,
this shit
dude.
on purpose.
Yes. You know why they did on? You know how one of the reasons I know why? Because Mark Milley was the one who helped draft the freaking plan that this one right here.
Yeah,
he was there. He was part of the process. He knew this existed, and he knew that it was a good plan.
No,
and
but
yet he still said nothing.
Yeah, there were no mistakes made. Everything has went according to plan, and it was successful.
Yeah, for what they wanted. It was successful for what they wanted, because I think they wanted all this shit to happen, man. They wanted this shit.
Right.
They've been trying to scare us and shock us and bring us down for the past 2 years like I've never seen before in my life. Everything that comes at you is telling you you have no rights, you have no freedoms. You be scared for your life constantly. Be scared for your countrymen constantly. Turn on your countrymen constantly. It's just insane, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Seriously.
And well, I mean, it goes to makes you wonder, what are their motives? Why did they do this? You know, they're not. It's not just Biden's a dumbass. He's not in control of this shit, man. You know, and he's really not. There's no way that man's in control of what's going on. You know, this is a man who has to take a nap every day. You know, he is not in control of the White House. He is their face. The presidency is effectively just, you know, a puppet regime.
Yeah.
That's where we are. And so whatever they did with this is just proof that there was a plan, because they're, oh, this is all Trump's fault. Is it? Then why didn't you? I mean, you're not following his plan, so obviously it's not his fault. Anyway.
Bro, Rome is falling right now.
Yes.
Rome is falling right now. Look,
Facts.
PT,
Right.
you're a fisherman. This is like when you catch the big one. We're the big one, and that hook is in his mouth, and like you can just wait till he's tired, and then you pull him. You know, that's what this is right now. I don't think we're coming out of I don't think we're coming out of Afghanistan. I really don't. Without a conflict.
Yeah, and then the conflict is gonna involve Russia and China, because now they're involved.
They're watching.
How could we step out of there and let Russia and China in there to be involved with this shit? What the fuck are we doing,
bro?
I think that was the plan.
Yeah, seriously.
Biden is a agent of China, man. That I don't know if you guys remember this. It was right after the inauguration.
Yeah.
This Chinese professor or whatever was giving a speech, and they took it off YouTube almost immediately. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. And he was talking about how they were going to take over America. It's like, we don't need to use the military. He's like, we're going to do it politically. We've been there. We've had our agents there for 20 years, and now we have one of our people in the White House. It was his exact words.
Look, nation building. What we supposed to be doing in Afghanistan, nation building. They're countering it with political. I believe it, Native. Seriously, I legit. Since you've mentioned it, I believe it. Seriously,
Me too, man. Yeah.
You know what? Something crossed my mind earlier today, and it has to do, and I don't want to talk about the stuff, but it has to do with the stuff that's the sickness.
Yeah.
Do you think it's awful funny that they started really pounding us on this Delta right as they were getting ready to do this, as if to scare us from being able to stand up for our countrymen over there, like to if you're scared to go outside your house, then you're going to be scared to go out into the streets. You're going to be scared to go to your state. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how it worked together. Like, oh, lockdowns, mandates. You got to do this. You got to do that. Oh, it's so dangerous. But guess what? We're going to do all this horrible shit. But y'all not going to want to do anything because we got this on top of you. We got you scared to death.
Yeah.
Prep.
Weird,
Prep,
ain't it?
people. Shit. Prep.
That's a good point, man. Yeah, grow food, man. Y'all grow food.
Prep.
All right, so
Yeah.
the next clip is I can't remember I can't ever remember his name. He's so forgettable.
It's all right.
But anyway, he's giving a press conference and he's talking about, you know, how they're writing letters to the Taliban and telling them to be good. But the reporters now, I'm talking about the propaganda White House reporters are asking him softball questions. And all this is while Jen Psaki's on vacation. You know, she's got important vacation stuff to do. But we roll the clip.
It would have been flawlessly executed.
And share this out while he's getting straight. Share this out if you get a chance.
How many more Americans left in Afghanistan? This was raised in Pentagon, and they referred them to the States.
Well, we have been consistent in explaining that in every country, Americans register with the embassy.
That's why to pause it. There's another clip. I thought I had it in here, but I guess I didn't upload it. But there's a guy, and they show him he keeps interrupting this guy. He's so frustrated, and he keeps saying, "Answer the question." You're not answering the question. Why don't you answer the question? That wasn't the question. And I was hoping, I was hoping that was the clip I had uploaded, but I uploaded this one. It's just his reaction, and even this lady's pushing it.
So it's a voluntary thing.
Surely, but you understand this is a question that also defines the length of this mission.
It does. And the president has been very clear that we are going to do as much as we can for as long as we can. And our first priority is the safe repatriation of the American people. So what we did overnight was to send a message to all American citizens who had expressed an interest in repatriation. We have already repatriated
What the hell?
What the fuck?
Do you hear what he said?
Creation.
They're talking about those 10, 15,000 Americans who are stuck in Afghanistan, and there's no embassy anymore in the country. So they're reaching out to anyone they can get in touch with. Will y'all please help us get out of this country?
Some bullshit.
And he's talking like, oh, we're gonna check with them to see if they really want to come back or not, if they want to be repatriated.
I would love to happen for someone to strap a parachute to his ass and drop him off right in the middle of Afghanistan.
Yeah,
and then let him say that. Exactly.
Yeah. See if he wants to be repatriated. Man, that's disgusting.
Do you know what repatriation means? It means that you are now under the control of a foreign government, and if you want to come back to your country of origin, you have to be repatriated by that government. So by the Taliban is what this dude is saying. This is our government, ladies and gentlemen. If you voted for Biden, feel ashamed.
Many Americans, just today, there are 6,000 more people, many of whom are American at U.S. citizens at the airport compound, and I would expect in the coming days.
1,000 people, you said they've been processed. Are they clear to continue on once they land in Qatar, or did they have to be held in that facility?
So these are different categories of individuals.
No, they're not. They're American citizens, period. You know.
Bro, I don't trust them. Native. PT, I don't trust
the government. Who trusts our government right now? Seriously, you're trusting the government?
Prep.
You know what I mean?
POTB picking on you, Niecy. Thank you, POTB. Thank you, Liz. And prayers for John. I hope he can fight through this
no doubt,
virus.
Man. No doubt.
Hey, John, breathe. 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. Smell of roses. Blow out the candles. Just saying.
Hey, man, I've been hearing. I don't know if Prepper Nation's listening to this, or if he'll watch it later, man, or someone to tell him. Tribe, you know this, man. There's a lot of videos going around about people who have beat this stuff, and they're not doing it because of shots. I'll just put it that way. They're doing it because there are therapies out there to help people with certain diseases, and they're doing that. They're using vitamin supplements. They're fighting it in a better way, and then a lot of them are saying it's the therapy for once you're hospitalized is what kills you. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
What, man?
Appreciate it, POTB.
What, man?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if it rides. I mean, you know,
I'm sorry.
I can't wait till I get on your channel. Payback's
a
bitch.
I take it all back. This was all satire.
I'll just be chilling, y'all.
All right.
Let's ride.
Next clip. You brought it up, though.
And fighters have opened fire on demonstrators marking Afghanistan's.
All right, just real quick, just to run down. This clip is this is a DW. It's a German outlet. They're kind of propagandistic. They're similar to our mainstream media, but sometimes, I mean, they still give tidbits of stuff. They're not as corrupt as our media is. But they're talking about there was a protest today, apparently in Afghanistan, of people in Kabul, people who have only known the occupation of America, and they're flying the Afghan flag, not the Taliban flag, the Afghan flag. But you know, I want to get people's take on this because I don't know how to feel about it.
National Day in the capital, Kabul. Opposition to the Taliban takeover appears to be spreading as defiant Afghans raise the national flag in a growing number of cities. But there have been reports of deaths at some rallies as the Taliban tighten their grip.
The Taliban have only been in Kabul for a few days, but the city has already changed. On Afghanistan's Independence Day, flying the old national flag is no longer just an act of celebration. It's becoming one of defiance.
See, that's
the Taliban
the flag.
have replaced it with their own white banner, but that didn't stop large numbers of people from parading through the streets with the red, black, and green again, sometimes right in front of their new rulers. In some parts of Kabul, gunshots were heard during demonstrations. But so far, the Taliban have showed more restraint than in other parts of the country, where civilians have been beaten and killed for participating in similar protests. Since the city fell to the insurgents, crowds of people have come to Kabul's airport every day
Pay
in
attention.
desperate hope of getting out.
Like,
Coalition leaders have made promises to evacuate those who worked for their military and diplomatic missions, and several thousand have already made it out, but many more.
y'all remember the last time we saw a video coming out of here at the airport, man? It was chaos. And then you see this, and then you see the Taliban allowing protests. Like the next day, like what happened? Like what changed? That's what I mean, man. All this is orchestrated and planned. Why are they showing a protest in Afghanistan? Seriously, the whole country just felt it. Yes,
it's bullshit because the Taliban is mowing people down for protesting.
Yeah, Native. PT.
I seen it today.
Just Josh, what you think, man?
I'm watching this video. I'm watching it, and I'm processing this shit. But I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think 3 to 6 months right here where we're at. No, man, don't do it.
Center stage.
He always gives me 3 to 6 months. Right here. I'm just saying, right here.
Think so?
You think it's gonna be here?
3 to 6 months. It could be a little bit longer, but
I tell you what. I tell you what. If stuff starts happening to Americans over there, I think we could be a lot sooner than that. If bad things start happening to our American brothers and sisters over there,
yeah,
how can we? Man, no.
I hear you.
Leave no one behind and not one person. If you remember Trump,
yeah,
he told what was it, Iraq or Iran? He said if you hurt one, of our peoples, you gonna feel the wrath. Now we got 10 to 15,000 over there. There better not be not one American that gets hurt over there. That's what I'm saying. I think we're gonna go ham.
Yeah. Man, can I just put this out there though? This is just a theory. I don't know, man, but what if their whole plan was to do this, abandon Americans, thousands of American citizens there, because we know what's going to happen. The beheadings are going to start again. We're going to be having beheadings on YouTube or whatever, and they're going to be allowed on Twitter. But and of course that's going to outrage us because it's just what you said, man. Because they're American citizens, they're our brothers and sisters. What if that's the point? So that the outrage, to pump up the outrage so much, so that there's another major conflict in Afghanistan to take our mind off of what's going on here in the United States while they're finishing their takeover. We're so distracted by this, justifiably, man. We don't want to see American citizens getting their heads cut off and stuff, man. I don't know. What y'all think, man? I mean, what's the play here?
I feel you, man.
I saw a map, and it was a map, and I said this in a video earlier, but it was the Kabul, however you want to say it, Kabul. It was the Kabul airport, right? And it was in blue, and it showed that we have this area secured. And then it showed everything around the airport, which was in red, which was Taliban control. It is a slaughter if they choose to.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are asking the enemy to please let us retreat. Let us evacuate. We're leaving your area. Please keep it peaceful. That's bullshit. I'm just saying.
But think about this too. Ain't it gonna look like if the Taliban doesn't do nothing? Watch what happens. If the Taliban doesn't do nothing and we get all our people back, who do you think's gonna take credit for that?
Yeah.
China, Russia. They're going to be all over their news saying that we came in, we kept the Taliban under wraps. We're the ones that saved the Americans.
What do you mean, PT? I haven't heard nothing from them.
Wow.
What do you mean?
Because China and Russia is moving into Afghanistan. They're making moves right now. They've done recognized Taliban as the leadership. So when all of our people come out, you're going to see China and Russia all over the place talking about they were the ones that kept them in check. They were the ones that, it wasn't America that saved them. It's China that helped the Americans get home. It's Russia that helped the Americans get. I guarantee it. They're going to use it. They use everything else.
How we get into this shit?
That's awesome.
And to tell you the truth, the way things are looking,
Yeah,
it may be the case.
yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like this administration gives two shits about the Americans.
It could be.
Oh, we're getting there. I have a clip for that one. We're getting there, man. Now, yeah. All right. Before I get into that, I just want to point out in the chat, Susan Johnson had a great chat. I'm not going to read it, but everyone should look at what she just said because she's right. It's very important.
What? Seriously? Native.
For a medical prep.
Is
Yeah,
that
medical
facts?
prep.
Just don't
Medical
say
prep.
the word. Just don't say the
I'm
word.
not. Yeah, don't say the word.
Native. That's facts.
I'll throw it up there. Who was
100%, man.
it? Susan?
100%.
What? I'm going tomorrow.
There's so much medical research done on this, and it helps. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
I'm going
Yes,
tomorrow.
yes, please don't. No medical advice. We know better than that.
Hey, if you guys are already in the Discord server in the chat, man, what we were just talking about, let's drop some links to some information about that in the Discord where it's free speech and we can share our opinions on this stuff because I think it really will help people to know that.
I'm going tomorrow.
Definitely. Did you
Yeah,
ever share that link, Native, to the Discord?
I dropped it in the very beginning. I'll drop it again.
All right.
I'll drop it again. Anyway, I got a couple more clips. I just wanted to share this, man. I wanted to share what's going on in Kabul right now. You see all that? I'm not feeling that protest like it's genuine.
Gotcha.
You know, or maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like you said, the hammer's going to fall eventually, or it's not.
Waiting at the airport. Situation is very inside. Through.
Just gonna skip through.
And it flew away. Far from the crowded airport.
Native.
Some people have already come a long way from home to reach temporary camps in Kabul's parks. Now they have nowhere left to run to, and supplies are scarce.
All right, that's the end of this clip.
Yeah. I haven't seen that.
Australian officials are
All right.
stepping up their rescue efforts in Afghanistan as the Taliban conducts a house-to-house hunt for people.
I just wanted to show everybody, our government said they don't have the resources to save their citizens, but every other country that has a major presence of their citizens there, they're doing whatever they can. I saw people in the chat talking about UK. I think I saw Ghost talk about it. They're getting their people out of there. Australia's there. There's so many nations in NATO and the UN and people who aren't like the Chinese are there, the Russians there. Everyone is in Afghanistan right now. It's not just us in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? But I want to shout out to the freaking Australians who are on the verge of civil war, on the verge of revolution. They have a tyrannical government, but at the same time, they're still getting their people out of there.
Supported foreign governments. The first evacuation flight was due to arrive in Perth overnight. After leaving Dubai with 76 citizens and refugee visa holders on board, the government was also trying to arrange a landing slot in the capital for an RAAF C-17 transporter with capacity for at least 134 passengers. Australia has committed an initial 3,000 places in its humanitarian intake for Afghans fleeing the takeover. And with emergency visas being issued, Prime Minister Scott Morrison says even more people could be resettled.
Bro.
Seriously? Right? I mean, yes. So, Australia's getting their people out of there. 10 to 15,000 people. 10 to 15,000 people of our people, American citizens. Who cares what their race is? Who cares what color their skin is? Who cares what kind of genitalia they have? You know, or what pronouns they use? They're American citizens.
They're doing the thing.
Yep.
Rome is falling, people.
And they talk about it confidently. Like, you don't hear America say, oh, we're going to get our citizens out of there. But they're on there saying the Australians are working hard to get their citizens out of there. But you don't hear America saying that. We had to leave. Just shelter in place. Listen to the Taliban. Bow down.
Listen to the Taliban. Yep. It's ridiculous.
It's craziness, man. It's crazy. Is that it for the clips, Native?
I got one more, brother.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I just want to make sure I see.
Yeah, one more. All right. So just to get to the commander in chief,
We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled? This actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No.
I see what you're doing, Native. Potato.
Come on, man. He said, he was telling him, we've all seen the footage of the folks falling from the airplane. We've seen the footage of the guy caught in the fuselage, his dead body just flapping around in the wind. And this guy, and George Stephanopoulos, Clintonopoulos himself, the former communications director for Bill Clinton. I don't know why he's an anchor for ABC. It just goes to show you how much the propaganda is. Anyway, every time he interviews a Democrat politician, it's human centipede, man. You know, he's swallowing everything full bore, making sure they look great. We remember him interviewing Biden during the presidential election. Biden's little soft, what type of ice cream do you like? What size are your shoes and all this stuff. He actually was pushing on Biden. Not really. He was just asking him questions. He asked him about the people falling, and Biden's like, that was 5 days ago. Why are you even talking about that? It's nothing. It's over. Are you serious? If it was 5 months ago,
yeah,
it matters that people are falling from the sky because of your major monumental screw up. And then he pushes him and says, well, were there any mistakes? Was there anything you would do different? He was like, nah, this is going perfect according to plan. I was like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you had on there where he talked about, people ain't dying. Cause that shit just blew me away when he said that. Well, people ain't dying over there. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? People ain't dying over there. You out of your mind?
Yeah.
Yes.
Prep, people.
Swap.
Prep. That's all I can say at this point. This shit does not
Grow
make
food.
sense.
Grow
It's
food.
not logical. It's not rational. None of it makes any sense. Prep. That's it.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt. Crazy times, man. Crazy times.
Yeah. I mean, that's a new thing right now. That just popped up recently. You know what I'm saying? Before it was shortages. Out west, where they have fires, the East Coast, they got floods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a storm
know,
going
man,
on right now.
Dude, we're talking about all this stuff going on over there, which we should be. But at the same time, there's 10 other different things going on. I saw Pepper84 in the chat earlier. I don't know if she's still here. She lives right across the Rio Grande in Texas, man. Like literally, they have a ranch, and every day those folks down there. There's still a major crisis at the border, man. Just every day, thousands and thousands of people are just crossing.
Yeah.
Who knows who's in the country? It's not about people, poor folks coming from another country who want a better chance. I get that. It's all the other bad people who are coming from all over the world because now there's an entrance into our country where you just get free entry.
Military aged.
And don't we deserve, as American citizens, as this being our country, don't we deserve to know who's coming into our country and where they're going and everything?
Nah, that's racist.
Yeah. Nah, get that out of here, PT.
Bullshit, man. It's bullshit.
It is, man.
How are we supposed to? These and you know whose communities I don't. You know what I'm saying? Where do these people go when they come in? They go to the lower class communities. They go to the people that are already hurting communities. I don't know. I don't know how to word it, but the communities that are already suffering, and you ain't doing shit for them. You just, got these idiots in charge who don't care about their own people. The only thing they care about is putting money in their pocket and corruption and acting like they're gods. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Hey, man, with everything else that we have going on here, right? And if you watched any of my videos, if you heard me talk September 13th, right? Which is my date. That is my date. Look, I'm standing by that shit this time. I'm standing
What's
by.
going to happen, Josh? Josh, what's going to happen?
That is the legit enforcement date for New York City. That's the.
What do you think's going to happen, man? I mean, you think De Blasio is going to have the balls to pull this?
Yeah.
You think he's going to do it?
Yes, new system. Yes, and it's going.
I think it's going to spread.
Yes,
it's not just going to be New York City.
No, it won't. But legit,
Bring
they're
it.
going to be like, "That's show me your papers." That is the date. They came out and said it. Now, if they don't, if they say, "Oh, we need to push it back a week or two," that's possible. But they felt strong enough to set a date and tell the entire country, this is the day that we will enforce. This is the date of enforcement. Not to even get into this, but I'm watching bigger channels. PT Native. I am watching bigger channels, and this is what is killing. I'm sorry, y'all. This is what is killing me right now. I'm watching bigger channels, and they're like, "Oh well, if I can't shop in this grocery store, oh well, I'll go somewhere else. If I can't go to this nightclub or whatever, I'll go somewhere else." It's not. No, that's not how this works. It is not going to stop.
People are leaving the states. I mean, look at New York Prepper. He moved out of New York, gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are making moves to leave states.
Man, if I was in a big city, I would have left. I would have left over a year ago. I'm not even kidding. Like I would have did whatever it took to get my family out of these big cities. I don't know what the holdup is for people who know this.
Native, I know how you roll, brother. I know how you roll. That will buy you a couple months, maybe a year. They are not going. Just what I want preppers to understand is just that this is not going to stop. There won't be this space over here where you can go and live your life, you know what I'm saying, happily.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen. Decisions will have to be made. And I'm watching these channels, like, they're like, "Oh well, they just said this, and I didn't know that they were gonna include this in their, in their deal." And it's like, I'm watching these bigger channels who are like, they're telling people to prep and prepare for what's coming, but then they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that they were gonna include this, this, and this, and this." Yes, it's everything. That's all I want to say to people. Prepare accordingly. There's not gonna be any. "Oh, I'll just go to this place if I can't go here, or I'll go here if I can't go." No, this is the new system.
That's it, brother.
Yep.
It's gonna require some things to be done, and that's all I'm gonna say. But it's this is where it's going.
No doubt.
Man, we're at an hour and 52. I think I want to end this at 2. It was such a good live and important stuff, and with my So we but I just want to ask the chat, man, if y'all want to still rolling, and on the panel, it's up to y'all, but if y'all want to still rolling, I can throw another live up, and then we can just do whatever, and I ain't got to worry about whether it gets knocked down and stuff. I mean, I still don't want to do, like, medical advice, because then you're automatically...
Man, I hope I didn't ruin this live, man. This live is important.
Native, didn't you have a clip of Australia? Like them, like... Because they're in full force right now. They're going hard right now.
Oh, their military is in Afghanistan evacuating. If I was an American, I would be with the Australians or the Brits right now trying to get the hell out of that country.
Yeah, but not even that. Just in Australia, in the island itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going, PT, come on. We you know what I'm saying? Like, around the world, there is a mass movement to stop this thing from moving forward. Like, countries are acting up right now. They're protesting. They're doing the things. Right. And America is.
Australia's there with us, man. I was talking to Homestead Oz a couple weeks ago. They're actually. I need to email them back. Make sure we're supposed to be looking up this weekend.
Okay.
They're going to come on. They're going to come on the channel, and we're going to talk about the revolution that's going on in Australia.
All right. Awesome.
Awesome.
That's what I'm talking about. Watch the other countries.
So
Go
hit me with a 1 in the chat if y'all want me to load up another live stream and we roll with it. Maybe we could bring some people up on the panel and just have a good time and talk about everything that we did tonight or whatever. Or just talk about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I say we all
me with a
strike.
1.
I say we all strike unless POTB comes up on the next live.
You see what he said, though?
Yes, I wish POTB would come. Oh,
You know what, though?
I'm seeing some ones.
You know what, though?
Overwhelming.
I'm just going to say this. POTB knows I love him, but if he don't, it means the Marine Corps are pussies. I'm just going to put that out there.
Woo! I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out of it.
That's not going to be a popular statement. All my jarhead brothers and sisters.
Oh,
man,
Tribe was like, damn it, Native.
We got ones out the ass. I mean, I'm sitting here scrolling. The ones are non-stop. So that's what we're going to do. Boom.
I got 1 hour left for me.
All right,
I got
cool.
like 20 minutes.
Well, I'll end this one. I'll jump right into StreamYard, start up the new one, shoot y'all the link, and boom, we'll be back on in like 5 minutes. Let me hit y'all with some sounds though, real quick on the way out.
Bam, share this
Hopefully
out.
it works. Yeah, please share this out. Please share this out.
That's what
Don't take it personal.
Can y'all hear that?
Okay. Yeah, we hear it.
Don't take it personal.
Step this game up.
We'll be right back, y'all.
Bam.